just ahead on American Black Journal. The Detroit Youth Choir took the country by storm during their appearance on America's Got Talent. We're going to look at what's ahead for the talented young performers, plus the latest on a longtime program that prepares young people for STEM careers. Stay right there. American Black Journal starts now.
Masco Corporation is proud to manufacture innovative and environmentally friendly products for the home. Delta faucets, craft-made in Merillat cabinets, and Behr brand paints have all been designed with you in mind. Masco and its family of companies, serving Michigan communities since 1929.
Support also provided by the W.K. Kellogg Foundation, a partner with communities where children come first. The Cynthia and Etzel Ford Fund for Journalism at Detroit Public TV.
The DTE Foundation proudly supports 50 years of American Black Journal in covering African American history, culture, and politics. The DTE Foundation and American Black Journal, partners in presenting African American perspectives about our communities and in our world.
Also brought to you by Ally, NISSAN Foundation, and viewers like you. Thank you.
Welcome to American Black Journal. I'm Stephen Henderson. It's been a whirlwind few months for the Detroit Youth Choir. They made the city proud by becoming in second on the NBC show America's Got Talent. And since then, the choir has performed at a number of events, including America's Thanksgiving Parade.
DYC is changing history, breaking rules like it's criminal, taking the stage and flipping the game like it's reciprocal. During the holidays, we thank 'em for the blessings, but if they second guess it, DYC like it is stepping. Oh, 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 mama said. 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 Oh, 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 mama said.
Joining me now is one of the choir members you saw on Thanksgiving morning, Imari Carl, along with the group's manager, Lavelle Nero, and creative director and 4 theater coach, Kyle Sammy. Welcome all of you to American Black Journal.
Thank you. Thanks for having us.
Imari, I'm going to start with you because we just saw you performing there in that clip. Tell us how long you've been a member of the choir and tell us what you love about being a member.
I've been in the choir for about 3 to 4 years. I joined the summer going into 9th grade, just leaving 8th grade. And I think what I love about the choir is the camaraderie and the family that we've built and that we're continuing to build, because we have new people coming in now and we're just learning them, figuring them out, and welcome them in. So
how did you become interested in this kind of performance? Is this something you've been doing most of your life?
Well, I've been singing in the choir at my church, but I never thought about taking it seriously until I got into DYC. And now that I'm here, I do want to continue it on into college. But the way I got into the choir was actually kind of funny.
Yeah.
I was told that I was going to help at a kid's birthday party, but I ended up coming to an audition and I saw Mr. White and Kyle, and he told me to sing a song. So I was really unprepared and I was kind of nervous, but I was like, I'm here, so I might as well do it.
So they told you were going to sing at a birthday party, but really you were auditioning for the choir.
Yes.
And if they had told you were auditioning, you probably would have said, I'm not going to go do that, right?
I don't know what I would have said.
Yeah.
Probably would have been nervous.
Yeah. Kyle, talk about this whirlwind performance run that you guys have been on. My kids were the first ones to come running and tell me that the Detroit Youth Choir was on America's Got Talent. They watch the show all the time. But they were just riveted to every little sort of turn of the trip, and you guys did so well, and it's been crazy since then, right?
Yeah. When the kids got the golden buzzer, obviously they couldn't tell anybody, so that was a secret that everybody had to keep.
Right.
And so then I remember Mr. White telling the staff and the kids that, when we go back to America's Got Talent, make sure that you prepare to stay a little bit longer than you expect to. So everybody packed clothes for maybe 6-7 days or so, and didn't expect to be there for an entire month.
Yeah.
So we were there at the Lowe's Hotel for an entire month, and we all developed to become like a family where, you don't get those opportunities when you're just seeing the kids at rehearsals, but when you actually live with the kids,
them, right?
when they go to school still in the morning, and then rehearsals all day, lunch and dinner, then a little bit of sightseeing, you turn into a huge family. And that was something that I'm grateful to have experienced. And then of course Las Vegas, it was like, okay, family reunion, we all going back. And it's just been a wonderful experience that we've all got to enjoy together.
Yeah. Lavelle, this is not the first time that people have sort of seen the choir, publicly and on a big stage. But it's kind of a bigger stage now, I guess, than it was before. But talk about the sort of history of the choir and how it got to this point.
Well, they've been together over 20 years, and Anthony has just been, as the kids say when I was teaching, doing his grind, just, being in the community. He's been there. Some, people knew of the choir, but now everybody knows. And from that whole experience, they did the Hobnobble Gobble.
Right.
They did the tree lighting. I can't say how we did that at the same time.
Right? To say those are events that take place on the same night. But,
we just finished a commercial, which will be airing soon for a solar company. And so we're doing that premiere Friday. We're going to Chrysler for a career day, and they'll be singing the headquarters. What else we've done? We have our concert coming up on the 15th at Triumph North Campus, the Millennium of J.L. Hudson Drive at 6 o'clock. You can go on the website to get, ticket information. And then in January the 4th, we're doing auditions again.
Yeah.
But we're only looking for sopranos and tenors.
Okay.
This round.
Because the kids are leaving, who you have to
and we keep that going.
Yeah. I wonder if you find the singing, or as we saw, the dancing. I mean, there's pretty intricate moves involved with this too. Which one do you like more?
You mean out of the songs?
Yeah, like in the songs, the dancing or the singing, or.
Probably the dancing, because we got to step.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, it was so fun. It was hard learning it, but when you finally like get into the rhythm of it, you just can't stop doing that. I've been doing it in school, at work. I have to remember to stop.
Right, to stop the dances.
Yeah.
You had to miss a fair amount of school
Yes.
to do this. Tell us how that was, to be away at sort of a critical time in high school.
So this is my senior year, so I did get to miss the first day, but it's fine because I still went to school with my friends, things like that. So what happened was we had to send emails to our teachers and they had to send our work there. So we were in school and we did go to work, but when we came back, the time change was a little rough. I didn't really want to get up and go to school, but I pushed through. I toughed it out. I still went.
Yeah.
And I still ended up getting on the honor roll over 3.0, so I'm proud of that. But I do want it a little bit higher. Yeah.
One of the things that, of course, I think everybody identifies with here is the creativity, the level of creativity that's involved here. You're not just singing songs. You're kind of taking them apart and reworking them. But I wonder how difficult that is with young people to do. I mean, they're not professionals technically. Is that a real challenge?
It's a huge challenge. It's a huge challenge because you're working with a lot of different personalities, a lot of different backgrounds, a lot of different ages. We're ranging from 8 to 18 years old. And so it's challenging to try to keep everybody on the same page, especially when you have to do choreography, you have to do the singing, you have to do the music, and all those things. You have to incorporate those together into different rehearsals. And then now DYA, which is the acting side, the theater side, is coming into play with everything now. It's a lot to handle, but I think that our staff is doing a very good job of implementing, the disciplines that we need to instill in our children for them to be successful when they grow up.
Yeah. Well, it has been quite a run, and I think everybody in Detroit is really proud of everything you guys have done. So congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. Coming up, connecting young people with the careers of the future. But first, here's a 1987 Detroit Black Journal conversation about efforts to recall some members of the Detroit School Board.
I think that it's very important, and I welcome that the parents and the community become involved with what's happening in the school system. My main concern in running for the office and wanting this particular position, because it is a position, it's not a job, even though we consider it a job, because we're out 3 to 4 nights a week. I didn't realize what I was getting into when I took this position, but I handle it with care, because it's very important for the public to know that if they are there from the beginning, many of the things that they feel are incorrect with the system now would not exist. But we act from a crisis management standpoint. We always sometimes come in when things are bad instead of being there from inception. And I would ask that the public attend the committee meetings, the board meetings, find out who is voting on what issues. That's what's important.
Well, let me ask you all about that now. When you had the joint meeting on Saturday, the paper reported that you had about 90 people there. You go to any given PTA meeting, you may be lucky to find 10 or 12 parents at any given school. What are you going to tell these members who say to you, for whatever problems you have with us, we're committed, we're out there every night, and the majority of the parents in the city of Detroit are not going into the schools and are not giving what they probably need to?
I think the parental problem is something that needs to be addressed, but I don't think at this time the problem rests primarily with parents. Now, when a teacher in the Detroit school system who is teaching a biology class, and it's a college prep class, and that teacher does not have material to teach, that's not a parental problem. That's a problem of the school board. When a teacher in a kindergarten has to go in her pocket and bring materials to school for the children, that is a school board problem. When the teacher asks me, come in my house and look and see a doll up there, say, can I have this for my class? That's the school board. Now, these people ran because they wanted to help. And I agree with Kay that in many instances you don't know how engrossing or how overwhelming this job might be. But you asked for the right to run. We as citizens gave you that right. Now we think you ought to be accountable to us. I think that you ought to be responsible to whatever happens, and the arrogance on the part of some individual board members ought not to be tolerated.
When it comes to preparing students for STEM careers, the Detroit Area Pre-College Engineering Program, known as DAPCEP, has a really long and proven track record of developing the next generation leaders. The organization has been around for 43 years, serving Metro Detroit youth who are traditionally underrepresented in the fields of science, technology, engineering, and math. DAPCEP has a nearly 100% graduation rate, and it has changed the lives of more than 64,000 young people. Here to tell us more is the executive director, Michelle Reeves. Michelle, welcome to American Black Journal.
Well, thank you so much for having me.
Yeah. So this is always a subject I love talking about, because I remember as a kid in the late 70s and early 80s that I had a lot of friends who were in DAPCEP. I was not in it because I was not a math kid, but I had lots of kids, friends who were, and it's amazing that now our kids are having that same experience.
Absolutely. It's so great because we have been around for 43 years. It's really a generational program. We have grandparents that have been in, their children and now their grandchildren have been in the program. And so we are just excited to still be able to serve because we know the need is still there. So we've just had to change over the years to ensure that we are still encouraging students in those STEM fields, because now it's even more prevalent with technology growing ever so fast and the STEM careers growing at a rapid rate more than non-STEM careers. We want to make sure that our students are prepared and in those positions.
Yeah. So talk about what has changed since DAPCEP started and how you've had to adapt the program, I guess, to sort of deal with those changes in terms of the opportunities that kids have, and then also I think the early age at which kids are now expected to be interested in this and know something about it.
So when we first started, we started as a summer camp back in 1976, really with high school students, exposing them to engineering careers and engineering discipline. Over the time, of course, we had to expand not just engineering, we had to focus more on the science, technology, engineering and mathematics. And then we have, as we have progressed, we now start as early as 4 years old to provide those exposure points as early as possible, because as we know, the earlier you expose, the more comfortable they are in those fields, so that they would be prepared for the later years.
Yeah. How have the kids changed over that time?
So the kids have changed in a few different ways. So technology is such a part of their lives, right? So you're not exposing them so much to the technology because they are familiar with it.
They know it.
They know it. What we're exposing them to is how the workings of that technology, the curriculum that's behind it, the education that's required, and the skills that are required. And so they come with a little bit more knowledge of what they want to do, or they know they love playing games, but they want to figure out how those games work.
How's that game work?
Right, and how can they be a part of it? And their entrepreneurship is a big part too.
Yeah.
So students come with not only with that mindset, but now they want to own the game.
Right, right. That's right.
So,
not work for somebody else. Right?
Exactly, and so we've had to adapt in that way. So we have constantly expanded our curriculum. In 2020, we have a drone certification program. We have a course in artificial intelligence. Cybersecurity is big. Although the other curriculum, the typical chemistry, biology, those classes are still prevalent. The engineering of all disciplines are still prevalent. The technology piece has taken off the most.
Yeah. And when DAPCEP started, of course, there was severe underrepresentation of not just people of color, but also women in these fields. I feel like that's an issue that's still with us.
And it's
a little better, though.
Although we are increasing in numbers, we are still underrepresented as a whole, because as more degrees are conferred, more STEM positions are conferred or open, we still are underrepresented. The great thing with our program is women, young girls, they represent 50% of our population. So we have always held that to make a comfortable place to ensure that they are more prepared to go into that work field.
Yeah. When you look sort of out 5 years or 10 years with DAPCEP, what do you anticipate will change? Again, the pace of change is so fast.
It is.
I think it's hard to even predict 6 months, but
it really is. One of the things that we do, some things don't change.
Yeah.
We are still preparing students with their critical thinking skills, those analytical skills. A lot of those things are still necessary, that baseline understanding that the mathematics part, the science part of it. So even if those careers changed, because we say all the time, we're preparing kids for jobs that we can't dream of right now.
Right.
But those underlying skill sets will always be needed. And so our focus is always going to be to make sure that our students are prepared in that manner.
Yeah. You're also the first woman to lead DAPCEP. It's a little late, but it's also an important milestone. Talk about
it is. I think it has been, it's been great for me. I think it was a great time for the organization. I think sometimes we just have a different take on it. But it's good for the young girls to see themselves. Yeah. So when I go out and I go into schools and I talk to them about what I do, it's always motivational for them to see someone that looks like them. Sure. In a position talking about a field that's male-dominated.
Yeah, yeah. What about the relationship with schools? That was always a big part of DAPCEP. Is that changing as well?
It's just increasing. Yeah. So when we first started, DPS at the time was really our main, right? Only school system, right? But now DPS-CD is still one of our biggest partners, but we've also expanded, so we don't just serve Detroit students. We have expanded to all the suburban neighborhoods as well. Yeah. But the school districts are still a great partner for us.
Yeah, yeah. What about distraction for your kids? This idea that focus, I think, is hard, but it's so important. Yeah. for what they're doing.
I think it's. There are so many other things that they could do, right? Yeah. And so we have had to engage them in different ways. So we've had to change our model some. So it's not just Saturday, it's not just a summer camp. We now can go into the schools. So we do pop-ups, we do large events and invite students out to one huge event. So we are constantly have to change because there are so many other distractors that we understand that their time is valuable. So we try to get them and make sure that our programming is just as impactful as it can, because we know that once they get that spark, then
they're off and running.
Yeah, they're off and running.
Yeah.
And
you're still running the summer camps.
So we do all. So we do summer and spring and fall classes. Our spring enrollment will begin in December 20th to be exact. So we have about 35 different courses from pre-K to 12th grade, really trying to, again, provide those foundations in STEM.
Yeah. Well, 64,000 and counting. That's
absolutely. 64,000. And of those 64,000, about 78% of those indicate that DAPCEP they went into STEM part, and one of the driving forces for them. And so we still want to make sure that we are providing that level of exposure so that they know that they can be in those positions and that they deserve. That's why it's so critical for us to continue to partner with universities, because one of the transitions that we make is to ensure that they're on those college campuses, so that they can see themselves in those chairs and eventually pursue that.
All right. Well, congratulations, and thanks for being here.
Well, thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Yeah. All right, that's our program for today. Go to AmericanBlackJournal.org for more information on our guests and to check out past episodes. Plus, you can always connect with us on Facebook and on Twitter. See you next time.